I hired a 90-pound girl to work in the stockroom at Smart Tech for you, okay? I should have hired a 300-pound guy to lift a 60-inch flat-screen TV, but instead I hired a hot girl who can't lift an iPod to bring you out of your funk. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we're just a bunch of bros drinking beer and talking movies. I'm your host, the Mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for checking us out for episode 123, and a very special one it is. Before we get started, let's go around and meet the man tonight's episode actually centers around, and that is the mad scientist, Bryan Banner.
The long-awaited.
No one said that.
Everybody's saying it.
Banner, I know a big part of being a scientist is obviously testing hypotheses. So I have one that I actually want you to test tonight. I hypothesize that you will get drunk during this episode.
Okay. The only way to prove or disprove a hypothesis is to test it. So, game on.
Gun to our head. I will do this for science.
Science.
And next we go to our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger. Matt, I spent roughly 45 minutes on hold with Honda this week trying to get information about my car. And as a true enforcer, I want to know, how would you have handled the situation? And even though I'm not as big as you, is there anything I can do to really hit them where it hurts as far as retaliation?
Honda, Jeff? Really? Why don't you just go to Wuhan and fucking put a chloroform rag down my throat? You gotta buy American, dude. You gotta buy Toyota.
But didn't you buy a Jeep and it broke down in like 4 months?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but it's still, I support the flag. So
he's like, and I do it again.
Yeah. So I walked that 10 miles back to my apartment with my head held high in the pouring down rain. Tornado behind my shoulder. American flag. I was carrying the American flag too when I did it.
The bald eagle on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Yep.
These colors don't
and
run.
my right to bear arms. I just had a machine gun. Walking down the street.
It's just starting to sound less believable, but maybe it's happening. All right, well, if you guys have not listened to our show before, or even if you have, you know that we start every episode off with the most important thing in any bro's life, and that is chest day. So, Matt, our chest day topic today is part 3 of an expose we've done to get to learn the Bro 4 Squad a little bit better. Since you actually discovered this, why don't you tell the people at home what we're doing tonight?
So basically, I don't want to take all the credit for it. A lot of people have been doing favorite types of music, movies, and stuff during this quarantine. So we thought you'd like to get to know the Bro 4 Squad host a little better. No one really asked for Banner, but since there's 3 of us, we're going to give him the floor since we already did Jeff and myself. If you want to check that out, I'm really scared. We've never give Banner the floor ever for obvious reasons. It's actually in our contract not to do so. Ronnie Cycli is beating on his desk right now. Like, don't do it. Don't give him the keys. He's going to crash the car.
When you give Banner the floor, it turns out like that speech that Mitch gave at Frank's wedding.
Yeah, it never turns out well.
I don't understand the problem.
I had to catch an early flight home from San Diego.
So if you cut out our other episodes, you know exactly what we're doing. If not, you'll follow along. So this is Bryan's life through movies. And I guess we'll just go back and forth, Jess, if you want to lead it off.
Actually, why don't you do the odd number ones? You discovered this.
So the first one, Banner, movie or movies, could be a trilogy, you can't stand.
Not too controversial here. The Lord of the Rings, we can include the Hobbit movies in there. Just not a fan. I cannot get through them.
So let me say this.
I fall asleep every time.
They are really long. To recap, as a podcast, in this category, we said No, you said Godfather is overrated. Matt said James Bond, I think.
Yeah.
So we said James Bond, the Harry Potters, and Lord of the Rings. If we have any subscribers left, thank you for...
Yeah, if we literally just pissed off everybody.
So this is the question I have for you, Banner. I don't know too many people that like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, just because, I like to get asked. But what's the difference? I mean, I've never met anyone that doesn't like Lord of the Rings and likes Harry Potter because you love Harry Potter.
I do like Harry Potter.
Type of shit, I guess.
I think one is more... Harry Potter is more in like modern times.
It's contemporary, yeah. It takes place like in our world.
And it's not like in this crazy mythical place. World of
Warcraft.
Yeah, where there's, ogres and shit like that.
I will say this. The fight scene in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, which when I say fight scene, it's like literally the last 40 minutes. That's one of the greatest action spectacles I've ever seen. Like, that whole battle is really, really cool.
All right.
Have you seen that movie at least, or did you fall asleep before that happened?
No,
I mean,
I've seen
like
all the
4
Lord of the
hours.
Rings movies, and that is a good fight scene. They just bore me. And I tried The Hobbit. I could not get 30 minutes into the first one.
The Hobbit's tough because they took one book and they turned it into 3 2-hour, 40-minute movies. So to even sit
You
there
can
and be
read
like,
the book faster than you could watch all the movies.
no, you literally could, and it might not even be close, to be honest.
I think the Hobbit's only like 93 pages.
So there's a lot of scenes where you're like, dude, we do not need this right now.
Dude,
I don't think
The Hobbit. Me and Jeff used to work for the same company, and they had us for like a Christmas party. They had us watch The Hobbit in theaters, and I was dead asleep. It was probably one of the greatest sleeps I ever had. And then I like woke up and I thought I was alone in the theater for a while. Like I missed the bus and I was really scared. And then I realized, no, there's still like an hour and 50 fucking minutes left of this piece of shit.
And let me just, before we move on, 2 things really wrong with that decision. Number one, if you're going to do like a work event like that, you cannot pick a 3-hour movie. I don't care what the fuck it is. Like, that's stupid. And number 2, pick something less polarizing than Lord of the Rings. Like, sure, some people might love it, but there's going to be other people like Matt that are going to take the time to catch up on all the sleep since we've been working.
You gotta go with the simple hour 35 rom-com.
Yeah. Yep.
Agreed. I think the next year they did Christmas Vacation, so they righted the ship on that one.
Okay, good.
All right, question number 2, Brian. Movie that you feel is overrated.
So I'm glad that we're not in the same room right now because I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna hate this. Any Will Ferrell movie.
Any?
Yep.
Step Brothers?
Yeah, I just don't
School.
think he's. I mean, not gonna say I haven't laughed at him a few
Talladega
times,
Nights?
but they're all the fucking same.
Now they are, but I will say this: the problem with Will Ferrell is like his career has been so long. He has so much longevity that he's done so many pictures that you're to the point now where, like, I honestly think, sort of like Adam Sandler, over half of them suck, but the ones that are good are really good.
Hey, Talladega Nights is still pretty good. I thought you were going to say, so whenever you said everything's the same, some people say to me that John Wayne is, and I will literally fight them that every movie is the same. But Will Ferrell, I was surprised because Step Brothers, I think, is one of the greatest comedies I've ever seen.
I think Semi-Pro is really underrated.
Semi-Pro.
I think that in a lot of these movies that are good, there are other better people around him.
The
Sure.
figure skating movie is fucking
Blades of Glory.
underrated.
Blades of Glory.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Craig T. Nelson is such a scene stealer in that. Come on, man.
And he had a 10-year stint there where he was like Jim Carrey, that everything he did was gold, I thought.
Agreed,
That's
but Brian,
brutal. I can't. Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
I get it though, because I think Brian could bring up enough bad movies of his. Although the problem with overrated now
But he
is
said everyone ever. Like if he just said
Sure.
Talladega Nights, I'd be like, okay, give me your step. But I mean, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights is a great movie.
and Matt and I won't
Yeah.
even try to defend some of his weaker ones. Like Holmes and Watson, I'll punt that all day.
All right, what's a movie or franchise you think is underrated?
A movie I think is underrated, and it gets better every time I watch it. Tokyo Drift.
Hell yeah. Dude, it is really fucking good.
Jesus Christ.
Really good. I think the problem is you come off of Fast and Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious, and Tokyo Drift is a completely different style movie.
Mhm.
It takes the franchise in a completely different direction. You don't have that star power that you had in the other one, so people overlook it. It's
Landon
really
again.
good.
You was an army brat.
You was an army brat. Is that Lil Romeo in it?
Lil Bow Wow.
Or Lil Bow Wow, yeah.
I'll never watch that movie. So I think I've watched 20 minutes. I'm like, this is the
Well,
stupidest
let's
fucking
hope
shit
you
I've
don't
seen.
lose at trivia.
I guess.
We're doing a commentary on it. That's not a question. Lucas Black, he is the most niche act. Like, he can only play like a certain character, right? Like
I've never seen him play anything other than that.
Friday Night Lights and 42. He's in both of those. He's the quarterback in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
He's the kid in Mississippi Burning, or so. It was that Alec Baldwin movie with Whoopi Goldberg about civil rights.
There you go.
He's like, oh, we need a kid that is supposed to be from Mississippi. I'm like, I got the perfect kid for you.
And now, of course, he's in Banner's favorite show, NCIS New Orleans.
Of course. Wait, what?
Number 4, Banner. Speaking of things you love, what is a movie you love?
Jurassic Park. No surprise. No
Change
surprise
film
here.
make.
Yep.
You a big dinosaur?
I mean, I love the franchise. I love this movie. Other than Fallen Kingdom, that monstrosity, this is what started it. I love this movie. I love dinosaurs. It's got good acting. The CGI holds up.
It does.
Definitely.
It's great.
Banner, do you remember your initial viewing experience of Jurassic Park? I feel like young Banner watching this movie would be like your growth from a boy to a man.
I know I didn't see it in theaters. I know I saw it. I want to say it was at Uncle Banner's house.
That sounds right.
I may be mistaken.
I
do know, though, it was on the 20-year anniversary. Me and my wife went and saw it in the IMAX, and that was fucking cool.
Man,
that was up there for theater experience.
I still think the Raptors in the kitchen scene is like a top 20 movie scene of all time for me.
Yeah, that one's really good. I think the Raptor scene in the second one in Lost World is better.
Oh yeah, in the fields.
Yeah, right before that movie takes a dive.
That, as far as I'm concerned, is the end of that movie. Before the gymnastics kick. Would you agree?
Yeah, agreed. I turn it off every time.
Good to hear. Sometimes you just gotta take the layups. Nothing wrong with that.
What is a movie that made you fall in love with film? Because I have a figure that might be Jurassic Park too. Not the second one, just the movie also.
The one that made you fall in love with film. I did not fill that one out. Give me a second. Let me think about that.
We can come back to it if you want. All right, number 6 is a movie you can watch over and over again, like that Nelly and Tim McGraw song.
Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is my happy drunk movie. I can watch it anytime. I could pick it up at any moment. I grew up going to Disneyland a lot. Uncle Banner and I had season passes. We went every weekend. That is my second favorite ride, Pirates of the Caribbean. To have a movie franchise that was built off of a ride that was built in the 60s is incredible. It's so much fun. Savi?
Great score, too.
It is very good. Might make an appearance later.
If you just made Johnny Depp he was the it guy for a while. I mean, he was already a fantastic actor. He had Blow and everything like that, but my God, that movie made him.
Yeah, he's very rich because of that movie.
A renaissance. Well, no, he's very bankrupt, but yeah, they've paid him a lot from that movie.
That's true. All right, I got my fall in love with movies.
Okay.
What is it?
It's we actually talked about it a couple weeks ago. X-Men. I remember it came out in 2000, and I liked superheroes, and all of a sudden I was at an age where I can
later, it's just as good.
Up.
Yeah, like it holds up incredible. Even the leather suits, they're fine.
So I'm scared to ask you a lot of these questions, but what's a movie that changed your life?
Deep Blue Sea.
I think his explanation here is actually going to be pretty good.
I was in 5th grade when this came out. That was the first rated R movie I ever saw in theaters.
He did a hand job in it? Okay.
No, it scared the shit out of me, and I spent half the movie in the bathroom scared to death. I was terrified of sharks, right? Absolutely terrified of sharks after that. And then one day I went down to San Diego, me and the family, and went to SeaWorld, and I was like, I don't really want to walk in the shark tunnel. The second I walked in, I did like a Batman thing and said, I want to work with these.
God, that's very Bruce Wayne of you. Okay.
It was. I think I was 13 or 14 when that happened, and I was working at an aquarium when I was 15 years old and did that for 10 years. So that movie put me on that career path. That movie is why I'm a scientist.
That's the coolest origin story I've ever heard.
That is really cool. That'll be in your comic.
Fuck, that's cool. What's the line in Forgetting Sarah Marshall? Fuck, it sucks because like I should hate you in so many ways. But
You're cool.
What's about a cut of the ocean? All right, Banner. Number 8, Geiger has the really interesting one next. But what's a movie that surprised you, good or bad? It could be something you're like, I really thought that was going to be watchable, and it wasn't, or one where you were like, wow, enjoyed that.
This is a movie I didn't want from the beginning. I never wanted it. I was openly against it. I tried to hate it every step of the way, and I loved it. That's Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh.
I
were very against it.
I was very against it. The whole allure of Han Solo is you don't know if he's telling the truth or if he's bullshitting you. And then they had to give us this movie to show off that he wasn't just bullshitting you. He actually did all those things. And I hated it. I hated the idea. But man, I had a fucking blast.
Solo was a great surprise. I have to say,
other than the goddamn dice.
Yeah.
The dice, yeah, wasn't, but his name origin was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. I'm like, that's the coolest thing you could have done on that. And Emilia Clarke was red hot. You know, she's still in Game of Thrones. Bringing back Maul, which honestly, it sucks because that came out. I think that's still the only Star Wars movie that came out in the summer, right? All of them came out around Christmas, and it got like terrible fucking. I don't think it did that well at the box office. So they're just like, okay, we're just gonna X-nay all these. And I was like, damn, no, I want to see where this goes.
I think Disney Plus might be where that thing continues. But you know my story about the ending. I had the ending ruined. I went to see it Thursday night at 8:30 that it came out. So literally could have, unless there was like a 5 o'clock showing, I was the second person to see it. And some dipshit 11-year-old spoiled the ending in the bathroom as I'm taking a piss before the movie. Oh, I can't believe so-and-so showed up. I'm like, it's 8:30 the night it opened. Fuck you.
Literally, it was like a week later, and just like, you gotta see Solo, dude. You gotta see it. I'm just like, no, fuck that shit. It's stupid. And then I was like, unless you could tell me like Darth Maul shows up or something, and Jeff didn't say anything. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna look up Showtimes tonight.
You're like, honey, grab your purse.
Like, put your fucking makeup on. We're leaving in 10.
Why didn't I have my makeup on to be in a dark theater? You just do.
Harrelson was fantastic in that too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sandy Newton was great in it too. She didn't have a huge part, but I always like her showing up and stuff.
Donald Glover, I think, is a better Lando.
He was great, and that's another thing I wanted to see more of him too. Like,
Yep.
I mean, that was before. I think that was before his big album came out too, that he won Best Album for. I mean, he was. Yeah, they should do some more shit with that. Not on Disney Plus. They need to make another movie.
Yeah, because I think we can all agree. The sequel trilogy definitely missed the mark, but the 2 anthology movies that have come out under Kathleen Kennedy, Rogue One and Solo, I really liked.
I would agree with that.
All right, Banner, let's get this over with. What's your guilty pleasure? Because your life is guilty pleasure movies. That's all you watch.
This was definitely the hardest category to pick.
Started with a list of 10, slowly.
Yeah, because you started with a list of 100, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. And at the end of the day, it came down to Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and The Amazing Spider-Mans. And I went with The Amazing Spider-Mans because at the end of the day, Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter is fucking terrible.
At least it's not Abe.
Palatable.
You have a future in politics because the way you shove Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter down our fucking throats and make us choke on it, you should be in politics.
At least Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter wasn't supposed to be good.
Guys, Anthony Mackie is in it.
I never thought I would say this.
The first Amazing Spider-Man, I want to hear you out on this because actually Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man.
I was going to say the same thing. I think the first one is a pretty solid movie. I think Garfield is the best Peter Parker that we got.
Yep.
Maybe not the best Spider-Man. I don't
I
know.
feel bad for him. He's like Dan Marino. He was just on a shit team. He had no chance to win any. But the second one,
I just think he's modern day Peter Parker, where he's not a science nerd. He's just kind of, he's edgy and into art and like, kind of stuff like that. That he's not a jock. I thought it worked really well, and I mean, I thought the cast, the first one, I thought the cast did well. Love Sally Fields, Aunt May.
Mhm.
dude, Rhys Ifans as Kurt Connors actually love. I'm a huge Rhys Ifans guy though.
Emma
He's like-
Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stacy.
I mean, it makes no sense. She's a natural redhead. Let's make her Gwen Stacy, but whatever. I was
Right.
fine with it.
Did you know they actually filmed? Shailene Woodley was cast as Mary Jane. They
Yep.
filmed a scene with her. It's on the special features, but then cut it out of the second
And
one.
there's only 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because shortly
Okay.
after that is when
After
they
the second one, Sony rang Marvel's doorbell at 2 a.m. and said, "We want you back."
You up? The second one, Banner, is a fucking terrible movie. Though.
It's
like Rhino and Jamie.
not good.
Foxx. I mean,
it's not good.
Honestly,
they teased the
Jamie-
Sinister Six at the end.
They teased a lot.
I
of
mean, Lamar Odom with the Dallas Mavericks was like, dude, why isn't Jamie Foxx trying at all?
Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn, whose dad still hasn't shown up to any of his concerts.
Yeah, he was terrible.
I'm not a.
He's
I'm
actually
not
a
a
really
Dane
actor,
DeHaan.
too. But
Dane
he's
DeHaan's a
terrible now.
great actor. He's just not Harry Osborn at all.
Flipping the hair out of his eyes.
I never thought I'd say this, Banner, but you did Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter dirty.
Yeah, I know. If
All right,
there's
Banner.
one time to pick that movie.
If you have to go back to a repeat here, that's fine because I kind of led you to tease this already. But number 10 is, what's your best theater experience?
It was actually seeing Get Out.
Ooh, great one.
This movie, I was like, I didn't even know what it was. And then everybody started going, you have to see it. Well, what's it about? Can't tell you. You just
Kanye
have to
West.
see it. And it just slowly had this like crazy myth around it. Then I go and see it. And this is the movie where you got people going, don't do it. Don't go in there.
Yeah,
And laughing at all the right points. It's completely silent. Gasped at points. It was fantastic. So
got
much fun.
behind you, like, or the girls, like, I told you them white girls are crazy. Like, I fucking love that in my theater too. I'm just like,
Yeah.
they are crazy.
They're
like
nuts,
my
right?
wife.
Right, honey? I'm a white girl.
It was one of those experiences where every single person in the theater is having a blast. You don't have that one angry person that's like, I don't want to be here. This is stupid. Everybody loved it.
People in my theater, yeah. It was like an interactive experience.
It was.
Were you, as a white guy, felt weird at the very end? You're like, dude, I hope this doesn't turn out bad because the theater might riot. Because I was like, dude, let him get out of here. Because I guess the first ending was he didn't make it out. I was really on ease. I'm just like, is he gonna get out of this? Like,
and it's on the DVD. Apparently, they tested them both, and audiences told Jordan Peele, like, dude, I know that may be accurate, but that is just a fucking.
dude, we need a win here. Come on.
I can't go through this roller coaster and then you do me like that as I leave the theater. That's a good one, Banner. I don't think I would have ever thought of that. Even though, like, my theater was just the same as yours. It was like a ride.
It was. It was just a ton of fun. People were high-fiving at the end, like we made it. It was awesome.
It's like black and whites were hugging each other. I'm like, it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
I was whack.
All right. Movie you should have seen by now.
The Wolf of Wall Street.
You've never seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
I've never seen
It's
it.
literally on FX right now.
I know. I just have never. I've never
You
seen
shouldn't
it.
watch it on FX, but my God.
Yeah. It's actually a crime that is on cable television, just because half the movies, it's probably 30 minutes.
If
Just
you ever
edit out.
have 10 minutes, you just need to watch him and McConaughey at lunch, because it's one of my favorite fucking scenes ever.
Where McConaughey tells him he needs to be jacking off like 11 times a day.
Yeah, and I love when he pounds his chest like the Native American call kind of thing. Like, I fucking love it.
And his lunch is like half.
Look, you guys have sold the movie to me countless times.
I mean, it's
Countless times.
probably one of Leo's. It's Leo and Margot Robbie in that are perfect together. They're fucking great. It's one of my favorite Leo movies ever, which is saying something. Shame on you. With all the shit you watch, like multiple times a year, like you just don't watch it once.
I know. I'm a disgusting person.
Although, be ready, like, if you watch it with the wife, the opening scene is Leo doing coke off of a stripper's ass, or a hooker's ass, so...
It's a slow Tuesday.
Okay. Just want to prepare you for it, just so she's not like, what the fuck are you making me watch? It's not a family film. All right, that was the life of Bryan Banner in movies. Stay tuned for Ajiv and Lift Bra to hear the even more interesting his life in music. We have no idea where
that's the one everybody really is waiting for.
All right, on to our protein shake, where we go around, talk about what's in our cup, also known as what have we watched lately. Matt, do you want to go last? You always have like a good one to.
Yeah, I mean, I only have 2 things this week, but one of them is really good.
Okay,
kind of.
Well, I'll let you go last. I'll go in the middle. I only have 4 things. Banner, why don't you go first?
I only have one thing, and it was sports. I watched basketball and I watched baseball, and it was glorious.
I agree.
It's what I watched.
I hope we don't lose sports, because I'm worried that still might happen.
Yeah, the MLB, they might not survive this. I've been saying it for months.
Like, what do you mean? Like, we won't have baseball anymore? They'll just be a different league.
I think a new league will emerge.
Wow. Okay.
Or let me rephrase that. I think a new league should emerge.
So baseball for me, I got really burned out on it because I played it my whole life and stuff. But rewatching it now, and I watched I watched some of the Nats and Yankees after Dr. Fauci's horrendous first pitch. But I remember as a kid, man, begging my parents to watch the West Coast games, because as a Missouri kid, you just felt like you're getting away with something watching the Dodgers when they first pitch was like at 9:05, and the game went over to like 2 a.m.
Try living in Oklahoma being an Angels fan.
Yeah, you just got to stay up and watch those games.
I get excited those 12 times a year that they played the Rangers.
So I think Dodger Stadium is probably my second favorite stadium in the whole MLB. I've always loved Dodger Stadium. I don't think it gets enough attention like Fenway. Field. Yeah, behind Trop, behind the Trop, of course. The dark and dingy Trop when you live in sunny Florida. Yeah, that makes sense.
Stained field turf, like someone spilt shit on it.
But I told Jeff this earlier, but everyone's like, "Man, basketball." I said, "No. Baseball is the most important thing, because if baseball can't exist, Banner, right now, we won't have football, because football is not in a bubble. So we need to prove that baseball can exist." And actually, this Marlins thing is a great thing, because if they can overcome it, then football, who doesn't plan for fucking anything, they're just like, we're football. That's got to happen, right? So they like kind of piggyback on baseball's mistakes and also their achievements. Baseball has to make it the whole way, guys, or we will not have football, which can't happen. I don't think college will happen, or it'll be weird, but NFL should happen start to finish, but baseball is a key right now.
Very well put. Never thought of it that way, but you are 100% correct.
Because I think basketball will go on without really too many hitches. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, Lou Williams got his little strip club sabbatical, or gentleman's club, excuse me.
But honestly, 10 days by yourself, that's just a slap on the wrist. I could do that.
Yeah.
Worth it for their chicken wings.
Right. Those are the best chicken wings in the county.
Raise his hand. Can I invite one of the strippers in with me for my 10-day course? Like, did you learn anything? I'm just asking.
They're going to do that thing you do for, like, your animals, take them on flights. Like, she's a service stripper. Like, he puts the little fucking vest on her.
He puts yeah. She doesn't have to pay for her own seat. She has to stow underneath the seat in front of her.
She has on the service stripper bra and panties. See? Just service strips for my anxiousness. I don't know. All right. Is that it, Banner?
That's it. Else? Yeah, that's all.
All right. I looked at this list. It's very short for me. It's only 4 things, but I think we can all agree that my protein shake every week is, you don't know what the fuck you're going to get, right? And this week is no exception. I watched, doing a little advanced scouting for some Bro Force Squad commentaries in the future, and we got a winner. Ding, ding, ding. Geostorm.
Oh, I said that months ago. It's great.
I called Matt, or maybe Matt called me. Either way, we talked on the phone after I'd watched like the first third of it, and when I told him there's a scene where Gerard Butler retires, and they tried to talk him out of retirement, and he says he won't do it. There's no way. And Matt predicted like 5 of the. I think I wasn't even drinking.
I was like, first, is he in the middle of nowhere? And did they stop? Did they stop shooting for 3 weeks so he could grow a beard? Just so it's like time has
2
passed.
for 2.
He grew a beard. He's kind of rough in it.
Ask if you think he's wearing like a plaid shirt now rolled up while he lives in the country.
I was like, was he cutting wood and looking in the distance and he saw trucks coming and the first thing he asked, like, or the first thing the guy, when he shut the door, was like, you weren't easy to find. So it's great, too.
What do you want? You're a hard man to find, Carter. Stupid shit.
I like it that way.
Yeah, I prefer the quiet. Chop some more wood. I mean,
like literally, like where does he get his groceries? Is it like a Kroger, like kind of down the highway?
I think he does like HelloFresh. They drop him off like.
Okay,
yeah. They know where his address is.
The guy drops
HelloFresh doesn't have a problem finding him.
The HelloFresh guy comes like, "What do you mean I have to tip you? I pay a delivery fee. Where does that go?" I don't know, man, but like I work off tips. Well, that's bullshit. Tell your boss. I mean, again, I pay a delivery fee. Geostorm, though, great one. It's really short. It's like an hour, 30 minutes. But I think the reason it's so short is they really cut out a lot of things, like a lot of things in the plot that I was like, I was watching it by myself, going like, what happened to, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, they realized that we shouldn't care. And that we're not going to care about those.
God, and like the quote-unquote twists in the third act are so fucking predictable that I just love them. Like, there's an actor in the movie, I won't even tell you who he is. He's like obviously the villain. He plays the villain in literally everything that he's in. And surprise, they reveal him to be the villain in the end. I'm like, no shit.
They're so predictable, they almost surprise you because you're like, surely not.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way they're going to make him the villain. He's the villain in every... Oh, okay, he is the villain. All right, well, that was pretty obvious. Geostorm, put it on the list. I watched Lady Bird. This is on Netflix. This is the Greta Gerwig-directed film starring Saoirse Ronan. And I don't know if you guys have... This was like an Oscar contender a few years back, but it's actually not what I thought. It's like a comedy. It's contemporary, set in modern times. It's not, or like early 2000s. It's not like some pretentious art house film, but there's a quote in here that when I heard this, I said, this is a quote that Matt Geiger would really, really appreciate. So there's a scene where the main character, her name's Christine, but she's in like that teen angsty phase where she gives herself a nickname and goes by Lady Bird just to piss off her parents. And she's talking to Timothée Chalamet by the pool. And Matt, Timothée Chalamet plays... his character's douche level is only rivaled by like Derek and Step Brothers, I would say.
This was up for Oscars, right, or something?
Yeah, I actually don't think it did any damage. Like, I don't think it won anything, but it was nominated for a few.
I remember seeing it nominated.
It was nominated for like supporting actress, leading actress.
I think Gerwig got their director nod too, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, and then I think it was also up for Best Picture.
But anyway, Matt, there's a line where Saoirse Ronan is talking to Timothée Chalamet, who's this super douchebag, and she asks him something about like he has like a nice car or something, and she's like, "How much did that cost?" And I wrote down the quote. He goes, "I'm trying not to participate in our economy right now. I don't believe in things like money. I plan on getting through life by just bartering alone."
That's awesome.
Like, no, but
I bet that guy wears a backpack with his hood on his head everywhere he goes. That's awesome. Good for him.
But his dad like bought him the car. She's like,
oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lady Bird, I would recommend it. It's really short. There's times where I'm like, am I supposed to be laughing here? But Jonah Hill's sister, the one who was in Booksmart and Neighbors 2, is in it also. She's pretty good.
Okay.
2 more things real quick. I saw a movie called Love, Rosie. This was just something I watched with the fiance. Nice little rom-com. Lily Collins. It's so British. It's like the most British movie you could possibly imagine, but it's, as I always say, it's hard. Matt won't like it, but Banner, I think you and the wife would get a kick out of it.
Okay. How did you watch said movie?
Let's say from my local library, but it is on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
My Fire Stick is not logged into my account that I have Prime through, and I'm really,
yeah, that's not happening.
I'd have to switch everything, like my Jackbox and all that shit.
Yeah,
do that.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Love Rosie, highly recommend. Gave it a good review on Letterboxd. To close it off, I watched an absolute piece of shit, but it's going to precede a squad vlog that I'm doing. So I DVR'd a bunch of movies, like when I got free movie channels a few months back, and some of these movies aren't on those movie channels. I just went fucking nuts. And I DVR'd a sci-fi original movie because it sounded really stupid, called No Escape Room. Again, sci-fi original movie, everything you're thinking is correct. Actors that are like, this is going to be my break. It's not. Low budget. They try to do way more than they really can. And it's a script that doesn't make any sense. So No Escape Room is about a father and daughter whose car breaks down in a small town. Stop me if you fucking heard this plot device before. And they have a few hours to kill while their car's being worked on, and they decide to go to an escape room where they meet a series of other suspicious people who they don't think anything of. Long story short, the movie is absolutely atrocious, not quite bad enough to be fun, but it led me to say, I looked at some of the other titles of sci-fi original movies, and I'm going to start a squad blog soon where you have to choose which of these is better, the Lifetime Channel original movies that come out around Christmas or the sci-fi original movies.
Lifetime. I can already tell you. Lifetime movies.
What if I told you that one of the sci-fi original movies titles was Bermuda Tentacles?
Oh, did I say Lifetime? Oh, I'm sorry. I think you misheard me. I said sci-fi.
That's what I thought you'd say. So it's going to get interesting. I'm going to put them in a bracket against each other with just the titles. I don't want anyone who's actually
Should we do like a mini March Madness tournament on this?
But I want to do it where we haven't actually watched any of the movies.
Oh, of course. I was strictly going off of names.
Okay.
We still need to do our cereal tournament.
I'm worried the cereal tournament will end friendships, though.
There's a good chance it will.
I think it'd just be cool to eat cereal on pod instead of just drink. I drink also, but
we need to do a breakfast commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And then at the end, we all slurp the milk by the mic, and that's our cold open. All right, that's all I had. No Escape Room is the last one. Total piece of shit. If it's on TV, it's, again, not bad enough to really enjoy, but I was captivated by it. Matt, over to you.
All right, two things. And Banner, these both like kind of pertain to you, which is weird. But so me and my wife,
it is an episode about me.
We're getting our first house, expecting our first kid all the next couple months. So there's a lot of paperwork and shit to do at night. So we decided to start a show, but not just any show, a show we both watched at separate times of our life that meant a lot. And we were watching it. It's a little show on Hulu called Lost. I am in the second season, and, my wife was hooked on it, and we didn't even know each other when we were watching this show. My 3 roommates were all about it. It was the last season, was coming up in 5 months. They bet me that if I watched 8 episodes, if I quit and I said I could quit, they'd buy me a 30-pack. If I said no, I'd have to buy them a 30-pack. After I found out they weren't the only guys on the island and Ethan was an other, I was like, here's a 30-pack. Give me the rest. It was like drugs at that point. I remember this is before you could really get anything illegal online. I mean, you could, but sometimes it'd be sketchy. So I went to our local movie store and I'd get like season 3 on DVD. I'd watch it in 2 days and I would like sprint over there because I kind of lived across the street and be like, I need season 4 before you close. And I would watch some seasons in like literally 2 fucking days. And they're like 20 episodes a season. But the first and second season, I think, are some of the best episodes I've ever seen on television.
You're a disgusting person for watching seasons of movies or shows that fast.
I mean, I had to, though, because all my friends were, I wanted to finish it before the last season so I could watch it live. And then I was like, this sucks. The last season is terrible and stuff. But actually, and I'll see when I get to it, but actually the season before the last season, I don't think was bad because I was actually excited for the last season. But
Matt, let me
the
ask you
first
this.
2 seasons, Banner, were perfect. Perfect television.
I missed the Lost Train, and I'm sure I would like the show at least during its prime years. But question for you. Do you think that they knew how they wanted to end it when they started? And if so, is there a point in the show where you're like, you can tell the network made JJ come back and do more? Or is it so hard to tell because I think after like 3 years it was a cultural phenomenon. They might have just greenlit like 3 more seasons.
I think they knew how they wanted to end it from episode 1. I think it was now most shows I don't think are like that, but I think they did. However, I think that they're like, hey, you only have 1 season left, stretch it to 3 or 4. I think that's what happened. And there's a lot of stuff though I'll never understand that if they just didn't know what they were going to do, like Walt Banner. You know how special he was?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen it, right?
I watched like 3 or 4 seasons of it.
Okay. But
So I know
him,
who
like,
Walt
and then-
is.
Okay, and then
With the
just nothing
dog?
happened with it. Just there's some stuff that they would bring you down rabbit holes. I'm just like, man, that connects. Wow, that's awesome. And then they're just like, and they said that sometimes they would purposely do that just to throw you off the scent of what the show really is.
That's
But
cheap.
that was really frustrating for me sometimes.
And at
I'm
the
like,
time, we didn't have the playbook on J.J. Abrams. Now that's kind of like his
yeah,
calling card,
but
really.
but there's about 3 or 4 things that happened in that show and you guys know me, and if you've listened to the pod, I can usually kind of guess some cool shit that could happen. Now, sometimes it does happen, sometimes it doesn't. But there's some stuff on Lost that I never would have thought of. That was just fucking brilliant. I mean, and how they go back in time, and you see that, Sawyer actually met Jack's dad at a fucking bar in Australia, one time. And then, like, they all have met each other before, like, sometime in their life. It's fucking awesome. And Jeff, I would really like you to watch it because you would like it. I think you would like Lost more than Game of Thrones.
Is
I
it
would
a
agree with
show? Is it a show where probably not? Just based on what you said and knowing how JJ writes, but is there a point where you would say, "Hey, don't finish it. Stop here,"
No.
or do they just leave so many cliffhangers that you have to finish the whole thing?
They finish it. They finish it. It's just the last season's not good. It drags, but every other season's fucking fantastic.
And it's what, 7
Is it
seasons?
7?
Yeah.
8?
Now, I will say, I skipped the first, like, 4 episodes because it's just them on the island getting acclimated and stuff.
Yeah,
and I wanted to just turn up
good
the
stuff
fucking heat
doesn't
when I
really
started
happen
it.
yet.
Yeah. But you have to know some of the characters before they built up a bunch of the twists and stuff. But it's a fucking great
Is
show.
it-
So the second thing.
Sorry,
ahead.
real quick, Matt. Is it something for you now? Because JJ is this is one of his strengths. Where now that you're watching it all these years later, since you don't have to pick up on like all the plot minutia, you're picking up on like other little things or seeds that they dropped.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where I'll nudge my wife. I'm like, this isn't really a spoiler, but Hurley like plays Walt in checkers, and they're on an island, and he's just like, I'll bet you $20,000 on this round, and Walt beats him. He's like, hey man, you owe me $20,000, and Hurley's like, you'll get it. And I looked at my wife, like, remember Hurley won the lottery? And she's like, oh, that's cool. And that's like season 1. You don't even learn that till like season 3. There's just like little shit like that. There's a bunch of stuff with John Locke that is the character dynamic.
His character's insane.
Yeah. At the first though, I think he was one of their strongest characters was Locke. I always was a Sawyer fan, of course, because he was like a dick. But you would really like it, Jeff. I would put you on the 8-episode Lost challenge. And I actually think your wife would really enjoy it too if you watched it.
You said it's on Hulu right now?
Yeah.
All right, I need a new show. I'll fuck with
It's
Lost.
fun to watch. The second thing I watched, which might bring up some stuff. So it was on TV, and I was like, I'm going to watch this start to finish. I had nothing else to do. And I will say this. As superhero movies go, The Dark Knight, Deadpool, and Logan are the only 3 movies that I won't discuss this movie. Any other movie, I will say Avengers, Iron Man is up to, and I can have a debate that this movie is just as good, and that is X2. I watched X2 start to finish. This is one of the greatest
Why
comic
didn't
movies.
you text me that was on TV, you asshole?
X2 is amazing.
It's fucking great. And the opening scene in the Broforce squad, you gotta fucking set a fucking tone. And I would say That's even sets a better tone than The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot. I mean,
You're not wrong.
That's a fucking. Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, The Dark Knight first scene is fucking great, but it's more just character development. This had a lot of fucking action in it. It was badass how they did that.
And the special effects for how Nightcrawler like disappears and the smoke he leaves behind him.
Yeah.
It was. I still don't know if there's anything that beats it today.
I mean, as a kid, you're watching the screen and you're like, how was this fucking Do they actually did Nightcrawler himself exist and get cast in the movie? Like, how can they do this?
The thing about it, when I watch that first scene, I picture myself, if you read like one of my first squad blogs, down aisle 8 at my dad's grocery store reading the comic, and I can just see that knife that says Mutant Freedom. Like, it feels like I'm reading a comic. So 2 things about this movie. Do you think they were in, a meeting? They're like, hey man, Nightcrawler, like where should we have him at that is badass, that he can like jump through walls and stuff? And who's just like, dude, he should be in the fucking Oval Office. And the whole thing that was around basically like mutants being like basically the new African Americans in the 50s and 60s was the greatest fucking thing to put this trilogy around. It was so brilliant. It made it so much more realistic. And I would say the chemistry between Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart in this movie cannot be matched from anybody else in any really comic book trilogy. You can even throw in Robert Downey Jr. and, anybody else. I mean, their chemistry in this was fucking great. It was, and Ian McKellen's like trapped in there. And this is
Dude, him escaping is so great too. How Mystique like puts a little bit of that liquid metal in that security guard.
Yeah, got too much iron in your blood.
And so the first scene honestly isn't even my best scene, because I think the best scene is when Stryker comes up on the school and Wolverine just fucking brutally murders like 8 people on your fucking screen. And
that I wanted that scene alone to be rated R.
It's rated
and it's already
PG-13.
Really close.
And
Colossus
the other
looks
thing,
great
man,
in it too.
Colossus is in it, and he was fucking great in it. And then you got, Iceman that makes the ice, up to Stryker and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I don't know who Stryker is. Pyro, when they go to the house and, Pyro's like, those mutants on TV, I'm the fucking worst. This is a whole greatest scene. The story is fucking perfect. It brings the X-Men more together against Stryker, which is always cool when the X-Men are against, not the X-Men, but Xavier and Magneto are against each other. But this brings them kind of closer together because they both kind of want the same thing.
Sorry to interrupt you, Matt. Can you remind me? Because I know I remember Rogue's storyline in the second one and the Brotherhood of Mutants and like the whole scene in the forest with Multiple Man and all that. What is like Cyclops and Jean Grey's
that was in the third one.
But what's their arc in the second one? I don't even really remember what they do. Nothing really, right?
I mean, I'm on record the whole time saying that they underused Cyclops as like a fucking secondhand thing. This one, so he's watching, he goes with Xavier to visit Magneto, and then he basically gets like fucking knocked out because they capture Xavier so they can go to the school because Stryker's kid, remember, was Xavier's student, and then he couldn't help him.
Oh, yeah, and shit. He's like in the wheelchair.
Yeah,
okay. Fuck, I forgot about that.
But this is before Stryker was played out.
This is the first time we saw him,
Yeah.
And they go to the Weapon X program, okay, and it ends in the compound.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But just some of the scenes in this movie, I'm like, good God. I mean, so the thing about Iron Man. Iron Man's a perfect comic book movie, but did Iron Man start like this movie started? Not really. Does it have as good as scenes as those two? I mean, Iron Man has, when he goes and kills everyone in Iraq, or Afghanistan, wherever, obviously at the time that played really well because it's kind of right after September 11th and stuff like that. But
to peace.
I mean, I'm saying, man, that fucking school scene was shot really well. And once again, perfect X-Men scene because it incorporated like 10 X-Men, and they weren't just there for screen time. Like Colossus could have only done that. Iceman could have only done that. There's a lot of things that I'm like, that's why you have different X-Men with different powers, and they used them all perfectly. They weren't just there to be like, hey, here's Pyro. He's going to light a candle or some fucking stupid thing like that. Yeah. They're all used perfectly. It's a very good movie that I never really kind of looked at until Banner kept petitioning for it. Now every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, dude, it's up there with Iron Man. It's up there with Thor Ragnarok and all those fucking great ones.
Dude, I also forgot about how cool is the scene at the compound for the Weapon X program where Wolverine fights Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool too. He's like, I thought you were one of a kind. I was wrong. And then
Yeah.
because that's like, okay, Wolverine's fighting an equal adversary. That's fucking cool.
She
when
almost
he's
got
like-
the better of him.
Is it him who stabs her, or the other way around, where there's like that one of them's laying on that cage, and they start stabbing them like through the bottom of it?
Yeah, so he's on top of the cage and she's underneath stabbing him, and then he cuts the chain and she falls down into
yeah.
the water.
Fuck, that's cool.
I mean, Jean is in this though. They still they church up the relationship between the three a little bit. That's definitely a story arc they play, but
Storm
there's
is
just so
pretty
much going on.
useless in this one too, though, right?
Storm's
She's-
useless in everyone, and that's
Yeah.
another one they underutilize. But I don't want to say anything more about that because making an X-Men movie is really fucking hard because the
It needs to
general
be a
population likes Wolverine. You have me that wants just a Cyclops movie. There's people that I love Storm. Rogue
Gambit.
plays
how
plays
we
a really
no
good role in
Gambit?
this.
Beast doesn't show up till the third one, right?
Yeah, he's not
Correct.
in this.
He has he's mentioned
He's
on
in a
like a
TV thing, right?
and-
But they don't
Yeah.
show him. Right?
Yeah,
You
it's
just
Hank.
see-
They talk about Hank McCoy on the TV, but
yeah.
that's it.
Okay. And then the third one, they obviously reference how like he used to work with Charles. And
I would like to rewatch the third one because I was actually always a backer for the third one. I never thought the third one was that bad. But I would like to rewatch it.
the third one has its moments. The problem is they try and act like Dark Phoenix had been teased since the beginning, and it just had not. Like it just hadn't.
Because Jean never got pissed or did anything weird.
But they put fire in her eyes, guys.
I will say this: it's the better of the two Dark Phoenix adaptations. There you go. Not necessarily an award I'd hang on the fridge.
Yeah, that's I mean, maybe hanging on
Damn
the
it,
fridge.
now
or
now
in the
I'm gonna-
fireplace.
I need to rewatch
Maybe
it.
now.
Kind of now. All right. Anybody have anything else? We're ready to move on to the last part of the show.
Let's move on. Bruh?
All right.
lift, bro? That was weird.
It's our question and answer segment. Do you even lift, bruh? And today, instead of trivia or a question we want to leave you guys with, it is the music of Bryan Banner's life. So similar to how we did the movie questions, we will now ask all those same questions, but for music. Geiger, do you mind if I do the even ones here? You can do the odd ones?
Yeah, can I just say one thing before that?
Yep.
Banner, I hate people like you. I don't understand people like you because you're not into music. And I don't get it because music is such a huge part of my life. And I mean, Jeff will test this. I think I'm the music guy of the pod, honestly. But I mean, I remember the song I heard when I found out I was going to be a dad. I remember the first song I heard when I bought my Corvette. I remember the last song I heard before I sold my Corvette to buy baby furniture. And music is such a big part of my life. So I don't get so you don't listen to music at all. Like when you're at work,
But
you
you
don't
hate
listen
him?
to music.
That seems a bit harsh.
I just don't get people like music is so
I think
fun. Like
it will be
because you
very
can listen-
clear what I listen to
Okay.
at work.
Because the thing is like, I'm not saying you have to like a certain type of music because I like listening to country when I'm playing golf. I like listening to rock when I'm working out. I like listening to rap when I'm at the club. Like I like all types of music. I just don't, I'm very interested to hear someone that says he's not a music fan, what they say on this. I'll say that.
Now, when I say I'm not a music fan, I mean I just don't listen to a lot of music, and I couldn't tell you who the hot artist is of the day and things like that. If I hear a song and I like it, cool. But it doesn't like make a impression or an imprint on me the way that it does you.
Wow.
As long as Baby Shark.
We're
doesn't
so
show
different.
If Baby Banner
So
did this,
similar.
would all 11 or 10 just be Baby Shark?
No, Baby Beluga would get in there.
Oh, okay, yeah. For underrated, she would go.
Of course.
Everyone always talks Baby Shark, fucking front runners. All right, Banner. The first question: what is an artist or a band? With some of these, you could even do like albums, genres, whatever, that you cannot stand.
So, Matt, you asked the question, what do you listen to when you're at work? Okay. Well, if I'm not listening to an audiobook, listen to a lot of those, I actually listen to movie scores for the most part. So 90% of these are going to be movies scores.
I'm okay with that.
One I can't stand, Superman. And it is a John Williams.
Damn, that's kind of harsh.
I'm not a fan
What
of
don't
it.
you like about it? Too optimistic?
Yeah, it's just not, I don't feel like it tells a good enough story.
Bum, ba-dum, bam, bam. You don't like that? You don't like that little ditty?
there's no like down. It's all like in your face. Hey, I'm here to save the day. I'm right here in your face.
And that's not how life is,
I mean,
kid.
this was in like the 60s though, right? Was that when Superman came out, or was it the 50s, 70s? I don't even know. Before I was born.
I think it was late 60s, early 70s.
It was before we even had AIDS. There's no problems in the world. Damn.
Simpler times.
I mean, although that is a relief to hear, Banner, because now we know at least that you're objectively a or a fan of John Williams. You don't just think that his shit doesn't stink. You know, like he can make a mistake.
Yeah, he can make a mistake very early in his career, and he learned from him, and then he did a lot of gold after that.
I will say this, unlike the Batman theme, which Danny Elfman did, which still carries over and like was even played in Justice League,
Yeah.
the Superman theme is dated. Like you can't hear Cavill's not going to show up and you play that. People will be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
I think you could play it, but it has to be like, deeper instruments. And I'm talking
slower
I've
too.
never played an instrument before, but it has to be deeper,
I get it. I know what you're saying.
darker. All right, Banner. Artist or band or score you feel is overrated?
I feel like you're so disappointed in that.
Why?
Overrated score. I'm sorry, Jeff. Mission Impossible.
Wow.
Are you fucking high?
No, no.
You
I think
first-
it's
Oh my
Sure,
god.
quick.
Dum,
Okay.
dum, 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 dum.
I hate spy movies, and I'm like, I mean that one's cool.
Fuse
It's recognizable. It's
That's cool as fuck, dude.
I just think that it's overused. I don't
what
know.
do you mean?
Afraid that the
Comedy
movies-
movies or something, or
Yeah, like if you
Is it
go
not?
to sporting events too, they play it and it doesn't make any sense there. I think that
I-
they just play it because
But
it's in a Tom Cruise movie. I don't think they play it because it's particularly pertains to what they're doing or it helps tell the story.
But I do think you need to blame the Dayton Dragons for that and not the Mission Impossible score.
I don't know.
the Great Dayton Dragons.
Say it with some respect. Banner, I'll give you kudos though for saying something ballsy there. Because to be overrated, again, a lot of people have to think you're good, and that is the case with the Mission Impossible score. That one though, you do have to admit, it is cross-generational. Like it was cool in the 70s and 80s on the TV show.
I will give you that. I'll give you that it was cross generational.
with minimal changes. Like I think it still sounds pretty much the same.
Yeah, I don't. If you played them back to back, I probably couldn't tell you which one was which.
Don't fuck with something that's not broken, Jeff. I don't know.
If it ain't broke, get the fuck out. That's the saying, right? All right, Banner, artist, score, or a band that you think is underrated. So give them some more props.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's a good one. Is that
Yep.
Giacchino? Who is that?
It is no.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Sorry. You can talk about it. I'll look it up.
It is very, very underrated. It's something that started as a iconic song again on the ride. I know I talked about that earlier in the movie section, and they just take that to the whole nother level in the movie. Again, it helps tell the story. You have when different characters come on screen, you know what the tone of the score is going to be and kind of what's going on because of the score. It's a very good background character to help tell what's going on.
Agreed. Banner, if I told you it was composed by the best composer of the last 2 decades, who would you say it was?
I don't know who.
Hans Zimmer.
Now, I see that sucks because I'm not. Yeah, I do like Hans Zimmer actually.
You love Hans Zimmer.
If you had a son, you probably would have named him Hans Zimmer. That would have been his
Hans
first
Zimmer
name.
Banner.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. Do you want a hyphen? Why the fuck would I want a hyphen?
Here's my thing with Hans Zimmer. He has a really, when he's great, but when he's not, it's really bad. There's no in between.
I think Hans Zimmer, it's so weird how I've been able, after knowing you for so long, I've been able to separate the scores from the film. I think his best score, and I love the Dark Knight score, his best score is Interstellar, and that's my least favorite movie of all of them by far.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I mean,
is it okay to classify like Hans Zimmer is like, I don't know, what's it good? He's like Pearl Jam or Nirvana. He's like rock. He does dark shit. And John Williams is more like Michael Jackson. He does like the poppier movies.
Or like Prince. Yeah, that's a great analogy. Yeah. John Williams is like lower risk, low reward. Hans Zimmer is like, you might listen to it and be like, dude, turn this shit off. Or you might listen to this and be like, yo, what is this?
Yeah.
Crank that. Good one, Banner. All right, Geiger, you're up. We just did underrated.
Yeah, I know. I was peeing. What is a band, whatever score you love?
Ludwig Göransson. He is the guy that did Black Panther. He did The Mandalorian.
And he looks like you?
He is red hot right now. He's doing everything. And dare I say, he's the next John Williams? Dare I say it?
I mean, totally different like styles, but yeah. Geiger, on the making of The Mandalorian, they showed how he created the score. Not even kidding you. He locks himself in his apartment with 30 different instruments for like 3 weeks, smokes a bunch of pot, records all of the parts individually, comes back to Jon Favreau with like a poncho and a bunch of puka shell necklaces on, his long hair. He's like, bro, I finished it. It's pretty lit.
This is interesting because scores are music. It's almost like classical music in a way. But yeah, this is interesting.
The fact that he has all these instruments it's like at the end of Walk Hard with Dewey Cox, where there's all these like African woodwind instruments. He's like playing all these by himself.
Obviously, I didn't even realize what a score was, so we started the podcast and Banner educated me. And he always said a good score you'll never know because it didn't take you out of the movie. And yeah, Black Panther is a fantastic score for sure. Once I started paying attention to what a score was.
I just remember the drums and the horns in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Like where they have that fight scene on the waterfalls. The score there is like...
Yeah, right before the Jatari come in. Or whatever the fuck they're.
Probably a couple weeks, but yeah. All right, Banner, music or artist, band, composer that made you fall in love with music?
The first time I noticed a score and really started paying attention to him, Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's John Williams also, right?
My wife just went, yeah. Like, she's like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
If you hear it and you start humming it in your head, you know it was good.
Yep.
As a kid, my mom would so this was before those garage doors had little sensors if you walked by them, that would open them up.
Yep.
And my neighbor Turner and I would play this game where, like he does in Temple of Doom, one of us would hit the button to close the garage, the other one would run and try and dive roll underneath the door before it closed.
Mm-hmm. Trying to grab your hat.
Right. And if you were the one in charge of closing the garage, you had to sing the score. So, ba 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 ba. And then my mom, she fucking freaked out because we quote unquote could have died.
I don't know. It's I think that's an urban legend just because Scream had recently come out.
Yeah.
I don't think remember your garage door could kill you. There's no way.
That's what I said, Matt. Thank you.
I don't think there's any way.
And like hiking and jumping around on these rocks, singing, da 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 da. Like I was on an adventure. It's just, I don't know. It puts you in an adventurous mood.
Yeah. If you're like you're kind of like, I don't know, man.
I think you want to swing across like a rope tree or something.
Or like, walk across a bridge that doesn't look sturdy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just take some risks. There might be some treasure at the end.
Because everybody knows the first person always makes it across. It's the second person where it snaps while they're going halfway over it.
That's why you always send the fattest person first.
We don't have enough adventure movies in Hollywood anymore.
Nope. I agree. Don't worry, Jungle Cruise coming out next year with The Rock and Emily Blunt. You're welcome.
Well, I'll sit tight and wait for that. Well, we'll look forward to that, Greg.
Great fucking reference.
Your references are sick, bro.
You have the sickest references. Everybody knows that.
All right. What's the music score artist that you can listen to over and over again?
Jurassic Park. I mean, there are several different layers. You've got the opening when you're going going through the gates. You've got the Raptors, the T-Rex. It's magical.
Sorry, it's losing me. Can you hum the Jurassic Park theme real quick for me?
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot like that.
Well, I'm trying. Like, I kind of have it in my head. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
Michael Bay's like, God, crane shot.
Yep.
Like Michael.
So when you go to the gym, do you listen to scores? Like you said that before on pod. Like you'll just listen to the score of Pirates of the Caribbean?
Sometimes, yeah. Like I'll just go for a run. You just put them on. You just go for a run.
It is good for running. I can attest to that.
That's fascinating.
And look, especially with the movies, as I'm listening to it, you can visualize parts of the movie. So it's like watching a movie while you're running. At least I can. I don't know.
As Simple Jack says, in my head movies.
In my head movies. And this head movie makes my eyes rain.
My eyes rain. Okay. Banner.
No way they could make that movie this year.
No
fucking way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They were like 2 years before, like, they got in 2 years before that door closed on all of them. Robert Downey Jr. was not only allowed to do that, he was nominated for an Oscar. Which is insane. All right. Banner, artist, band, album, composer, score that changed your life.
I mean, I think it has to be John Williams, right? It has to be.
I guess.
I mean, purely on, first off, it was one of his songs that made me, or one of his scores that made me fall in love with scores and love them. And he has he set the bar 13 times. I mean, Jaws, I know you guys have your opinions about Harry Potter. He did Harry Potter, which is another great one. Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Superman, Jurassic Park.
I mean, I would say the Jaws is probably the most popular, I would think. I'm trying to think what's the most like known. Baseball games and everything like that.
Yeah,
I would think that's even more important. The Imperial March obviously is one of the biggest ones too.
Mm-hmm. I think his best one is still Duel of the Fates though.
Yeah, I that one's not played as much as like, you know, baseball games in between innings or something to get people up. But the Jaws one, I think, is his best one because that
one was just the suspense.
Yeah, it was like and it's like slowly, and then it just starts like it's like a heartbeat when someone's dead, and then they pump it, and it kind of goes bump, bump, bump. I mean, I think this is the best, and I'm a Darth Vader fucking lifer, and I'm gonna say that one's better than the Imperial March. That one's fucking a great score.
I would agree with that. Matt, I need you to do this. Next time you go to the gym and you're in the locker room, you're getting ready, listen to Duel of the Fates before you go out to work out.
Okay.
You'll be jacked.
Man, I'll wake up and take my morning shit, and all I'm thinking about is what band am I going to listen to at the gym that morning? Like sometimes at the end of my gym session, like I'll play a song by like Linkin Park or Rob Zombie, and I'm like, dude, tomorrow all I'm going to listen to is Rob Zombie. I guess you're the same way, but it's with scores. But yeah, I would love to listen to Jaws or something before a workout. I don't know if I'd listen to it during it, but
no, I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you're doing. If you're like lifting weights, probably not.
Yeah, I never go on runs. Like I might sprint, but I don't I know it's really fun. Jess' mom's laughing right now. It was like, you fat F, you don't do
He's
anything.
like, I know,
come
you
on.
fat slob. I think the Blob was actually based on Matt.
Yeah, it was.
My mom always goes, it's so funny because Matt is like the most in shape person. I'm like, Mom, no, you're kidding because we all know he's obese. All right, are we on my next one, or did you
19.
guys? Surprised him, didn't think he'd like that one.
Yep.
All right, Banner. Score, composer, artist, band that surprised you, did not think you'd like, but you did.
This is one that surprised me. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the soundtrack.
Wow, great one.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. Every song in that is a banger. Every time that it's played during the movie, again, it helps set the tone and it helps convey the emotions that we need to be feeling in that moment. It was great. Absolutely loved it.
I told Matt last week on my episode, my most overrated artist was Post Malone, with the caveat of his song Sunflower off that album.
Yeah, it was great.
And once again, overrated does not mean we think they suck. We just don't think that they deserve the praise they're getting.
Yeah, like just chill out.
Like, I like Post, but I mean, get out of here. I mean, he's not, like, people think he's like their generation's John Lennon. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I like kale shakes, but everyone just fucking relax.
Like, yeah.
Jesus.
I'm not saying I want him as a cheat meal,
Right. Well, why do you need a steak? You had a kale shake this morning. God, Bethany, can you just not?
Okay, Banner, what's your guilty pleasure?
Shakira.
Yeah, that's now you got it.
Am I
like to masturbate to, or to actually like listen to music?
No, I like her music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Whenever Wherever your favorite song, or do you just like to watch the J-Lo Super Bowl performance?
Yeah, it's probably just the J-Lo Super Bowl performance, if I'm gonna be real with you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's just something.
Can I say something about Shakira?
Yeah.
Safe space. Yeah. I can't stand over singing, and now she's not the queen of it. The chick from Sugarland with the whole, she is the queen of over singing. I can't stand over singing, but Shakira's right up there. Like, she over sings a lot, and Nicki Minaj she didn't really sing, but like they overdo it, and it drives me nuts. I can't stand over sing.
Christina Aguilera does it, but then she'll like break off a harmony or like no one else could hit, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, all right, okay. Christina Aguilera is talented. So is like Mariah Carey. Beyonce is another one where she's just like diva, like the whole time. I'm just like, okay, just relax, just a little. Like, it's just too much for me right now.
Shakira has it's like a batter that has like a really small part of the strike zone where they can only hit the ball in. Yeah. She has like a very small vocal range, but if she can stay in there, she can be very effective.
I mean, Banner, you weren't on when I did mine. Mine was Alanis Morissette. I was like, I listened to Jagged Little Pill probably once a month. That's a great fucking album.
We get it. You were married to Ryan Reynolds. Okay. It's over.
It's weird that all of ours are chicks, but like a lot of like I love Shania Twain. I think Shania Twain's fucking insanely talented. I love a lot of her music. Taylor Swift, there's some of her stuff that I'm like, God damn, like she can write a song.
Yeah.
She's actually really talented.
Speaking of Shania Twain, really, we've been talking about getting all of our wives to replace us for an episode of the podcast. And if we did, right before the Broforce Squad intro, I would get the, come on, girls. Bam, 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 and then it would just cut right into the Broforce Squad.
That don't impress me much video, I was like, that might be the hottest woman I've ever seen. I remember watching that in like 99. I'm like, good God.
When I lived in Seattle, she was like just starting up her career, and she performed at the horse racing track that my dad worked at. One summer
awesome.
Night. Yeah.
Little Jeff, Papa Boner.
Little Jeff,
Mayor, Papa Boner, and the
7-year-old Jeff with Sean Kemp jersey on. Rain Man. Who's asking this one, Matt? Is this me or you?
You.
Banner, your best live experience. Now, if this is a score, I'm not sure if you've been to any of those like symphony orchestras, because I know where you live has had a couple of them.
Yeah,
I guess technically a theater could be a best live experience.
I was going to say, I've seen Mannheim Steamrollers and Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Oh, God.
And both of those were a fucking blast.
I've always wanted to see TSO.
Okay, so so TSO, I need to say this because me and Banner are so polar opposites. So TSO, I've heard that they're great, but I'm like, dude, I'm not going to pay $500 a ticket to go see someone that doesn't sing during Christmas. But there's sometimes I'm like, if I could see a knockoff or, a cover band of them, I'd maybe pay $20 to go see it.
Right.
But, and some people were like, hey, man, I wouldn't see fucking $300 to see the Foo Fighters. But I'm like, I fucking would. So I understand that different strokes for different folks. But what were tickets, Banner? Just
they weren't bad. I think they were like 60 or maybe 80 a piece.
Did they do like a little light show with them?
Yeah, it's like a whole on Pink Floyd laser show.
God, that's fucking awesome. You're like, now it's fucking Christmas.
Is
there anything Christmas. More emo though than calling a band their initials? I mean,
not.
Dyed black.
I'm like,
hair.
Dude, I love CCR. I love TSO. I mean, I do it too, but I'm like, I don't have time to pronounce their time. And if you don't know what their initials mean, then we shouldn't be friends.
Anytime you ask someone, what do those initials mean? You get a, you don't know. And you can't Google it because 7,000 things are going to come up for. But TSO is great. I would go see them if given the chance. Banner, did you see them like around the holiday season too?
Yeah, it was December.
Okay, that's when you got to go, dude.
Yeah.
That'll get you in the fucking Christmas spirit.
All right, Banner. What's a band orchestra artist that you should have seen live by now?
You guys tell me. I don't know. I haven't been to any. Those are the only two quote unquote concerts I've ever been to.
Can we just say you need to go to a concert then? You need to go to BSB with Cycling and I.
Yeah. I've never been to a concert.
I mean,
that's
you
not,
need to go
that's
like,
not true.
I mean, Blink-182 Lil Wayne with me and Jeff. Like,
yeah.
I guess that's not true. I forgot. I did see Zach Brown Band one time.
It'd be okay, I guess.
It was fun. I was in a suite with free drinks. So
yeah, I was gonna say because Banner concerts are like everything that you're about.
No. Okay, a concert, if you're in a suite, that doesn't count. You need to be outdoors, in kind of like not a mosh pit, but around a group of people. Obviously in 2020, I don't know if that'll ever fucking happen again, but that's what a concert is. You need to tailgate 2 hours before, grill, drink, listen to the music you're about to go listen to. Yeah, that is what a concert is. You got to do the whole experience. So, like, what do you listen? Like, if you're listening to music, like, do you listen to like 90s? Do you listen to rock, hip hop? Like, what do you?
I do some hip hop, maybe a little rap, but again, not that much. I shy away from it.
To like a Nelly concert, would you?
I'd have a blast. Yeah, I'd do it. I trust you guys. I'd go to whatever you guys took me to.
I think that's the crazy thing. Banner is so game for this. It's just like how has no one here forced him to quote unquote?
Yeah, we need to go. It needs to be an outdoor concert. Just like we saw Blink Lil Wayne, Jeff. We need to tailgate before, drink a ton of beers, go in there. We're gonna have like tank tops on. It's gonna be hot. You're gonna get sunburned.
Watch a fight as you're leaving because someone always fights when you're leaving the concert.
Of course, you gotta fight at a concert unless you're a bitch.
What's that? Shut up. You just fucking look.
I was so drunk. A guy like sold me. He's like, "Hey man, concert tee's $30. Like, I'll buy one. I'm a medium. Cool. Here's an XL." I'm like, "Thanks, dude." And I just left. Have it in my closet. Will never wear it.
Was that at the Blink concert?
That fit me. Yep. Blink Lil Wayne.
They're like, if you wash it, it should shrink. Like, okay, well, here's a 10. If you look at it under the right light,
we need to take him to one that's a cool, like, rap concerts I've been to, honestly, haven't been that good. The best concerts I've been to have been like Blink was good, Foo Fighters was good, Rob Zombie was good, Linkin Park was good.
Dude,
you got to have like kind of rock.
Boys are performing at that casino halfway between us and
I know.
Yeah. Because we could drink at the casino before and then go there. That'd be a good experience for sure.
All right. Well, we made plans
But there's something Banner bringing in the summer in an outdoor concert. There's 6 bands playing that day. You're like high and drunk as fuck by the time the band that you want to see plays. You barely remember it, but luckily you caught some of it on video that you can watch later. That's a concert, dude. You got to go to that.
I mean, I'm
game. You're throwing up
college. like college sports games and going to like sporting baseball games and
It's
football
just like
games
a college.
like that.
It's just
Yeah.
like a college sporting event. You're thrown up in a porta potty. The porta potty next to you, someone's having premarital sex. It's great. It's what God intended this fucking world to be like. Is what it was.
That's why Earth was made in the Lord's image. All right, Banner, anything you want to say about this process? I mean, you're the third of three to go through this. What did you learn about yourself?
It was a lot of fun. A lot harder than I thought it would be. Obviously, the music for obvious reasons for me. I just don't listen to that much music. But even the movies, I'm like, oh, I love that movie. And you're like, well, wait, do I love it more than this movie? And then 15 movies later, it's really hard to decide.
To the one you did.
Yeah, you end up going back, and it's just this vicious cycle. It was really difficult coming up with my answers. I will say that. Because there were so many that I wanted to say, or movies I want to talk about, and they just didn't make the cut. Like Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
When you text, I think you texted me earlier in the week, you're like, guys, it's not on the list. I'm like, well, you did the list wrong then, I think.
I know. As much as I wanted it to be on the list, I thought to myself, honestly, I've only seen it twice in the last 4 years. I've seen it twice since we started this pod. And I've seen The Amazing Spider-Man's probably 5 times. So
I don't know. Well, you've seen Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter 2 times more than Matt and I combined. So don't beat yourself up too much.
I just don't understand why we're harping on me when you watched a sci-fi original movie.
No Escape Room. You're welcome, Earth.
I don't understand why I'm being attacked here.
I'm doing God's work here. All right, before we let the people go, Matt, what do you want to leave them with? Did you remember you had some mantra last week you were going to preach, but I don't remember what it is.
Freeze your eggs.
Oh, that's what it is.
Freeze your eggs. You never know.
You don't. Ask Christy.
That was interesting though, Banner. Music means something different to each person.
Yeah,
and music in movies, there's no right or wrong answer. It's all about just what you're into.
If you only gain one thing from listening to this podcast, it's how different we all are, and I think why it all works, because those were 3 very different episodes in terms of movies and music.
It's interesting. I want to make Banner a playlist because I love giving people music to listen to, and I love when people come to me and they're like, dude, Geiger, like, I know what you're into. Listen to this fucking band. And I'll say, okay, I will listen to their whole fucking album next time I work out. And then I've found some of my favorite bands that way that I've never fucking heard of because I don't really listen to the radio because I like a certain type of music and they don't really play it anymore. So some of these bands are not mainstream and they'll tell me, it's like, dude, fucking give this a listen. So I could give you a playlist, Banner, if you just kind of tell me what you're into and you'd like it all. You might not know who sings any of it.
No, I want you to give me what you think I want or what I need.
The best part is we live in a day and age where, our grandparents only dreamed of any music is accessible with like literally 2 seconds on the internet. So you find shit you like. It's not like you're going to be like, well, let's just wait for that to come on the radio again and press record on this cassette. God, how did people used to do that?
It's sad too, because whatever pop music was or whatever was acceptable, just like me, I love like Southern rock. I would consider it country rhythm and blues like Stevie Ray Vaughan, but they don't make it anymore. But they do. It's just not mainstream on the radio. So I have to go search for it. Yeah. I have to go search for it, but it's out there. But if I was in the 70s, there's no way I could, unless I knew the fucking band and they're giving me their 8-track, there's no way I could listen to it.
All right, Banner, how about you? What do you want to leave the people with?
Just pull over for emergency vehicles.
But freeze your eggs, more importantly.
Freeze your eggs while you pull over for emergency.
Yeah, do it both at the same time.
Yeah, kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Some 8-year-olds like, Mom, Geiger told me to freeze my eggs. I don't know what that. You're a boy, so I don't know. Unless he's talking about chicken eggs.
He didn't specify like who needed to do it. So how sure are you?
Or what kind of eggs? Like ostrich eggs? Dinosaur eggs?
Yeah, all of them. Those we need to find. Way to like bring the pod full circle with the Jurassic Park reference early on. I like that. right, for the mad scientist Bryan Banner and our enforcer in the paint, Matt Geiger, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek, and we are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. Follow us on Twitter at Bro Force Squad. If you type in these 3 words, separate words, Bro, Force, and Squad on Letterboxd, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, you'll find us there, and check out everything in our aforementioned squad blog on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till next time, we got to go watch TSO live in concert. If you know what that means, just go home.